Kyrgyzstan is a wonderful country. I've already seen here the French Alps and the Italian Dolomites, and even the elements of my dear Middle Urals are here. You can, of course, wander around these wonderful meadows for a long time, but since I have a task to find the real symbol of Kyrgyzia among local plants, it would be logical to ask the local people what is the most important in all this variety of flora for them. Oh, this basic non-melodic singing just suggests to us that people may be nearby. It's a cough-up bird that looks like a jackdaw. Yes, actually, they are relatives. Like jackdaws and other corvidae, chawflops to families. They are smart and sharp-witted, and this often means that birds will settle closer to humans to profit themselves by food and building materials for nests. Well, that's right. Birds found their home here. I'll go down there, and I'll find something useful along the way. You can see any kind of plants here in the foothills. This is a Jacob's ladder. This is one very famous Kyrgyz healing balm called Arashan. And so the Jacob's ladder, as I recall, is an ingredient of this balm. This balm helps almost against all diseases, in moderate doses, of course. But this plant, as connoisseurs say, helps against tuberculosis and other lung diseases. And in my opinion, it does not smell of anything. I hope it helps to cure people, at least. I just feel how good it is to breathe this air in my lungs. The air here, by the way, is fragrant. The main thing is to adapt here. There is a little less oxygen than we are used to, a couple of thousand meters lower. But we can understand now why the local people were much more enduring than the population from downhill when they decided to roam with not-so-peaceful purposes across the plain. Anaerobic trainings are the most effective for warriors. Nothing better has yet been invented. The highlands are the perfect territories for such trainings, especially with phytotherapy. You can find so many plants at an altitude of 2,650 meters above sea level. I'm not at this altitude now, and please do not feel confused by the diversity of the flora that grows here. By the way, this is an interesting bush. This is the common sorrel, but wild. I think that it is impossible to make sorrel soup with it. Please note a plant nearby that looks like lily leaves. It's a hellebore. It looks the same, but the fact is that this is a deadly poisonous plant for humans. I am, as a modern resident of a big city, even scared to touch it. But it's also officinal. The people here treat everything with it, from alcoholism to radiculitis. If, of course, they don't poison the patient. 25 years ago, when we did not yet have all the modern variety of veterinary drugs, the infusion of hellebore was used against dog's fleas. Interesting that it doesn't harm the grazing animals. My favorite column, Hey You, Come Here, is on air. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Horse, let's go. Hello.
Hello.
I know that for the nations of middle... Well, let's go. You are so small and so obstinate already. Is this a Kyrgyz breed, eh? I know that Kumis, or as Kyrgyz say, Kumis, for the peoples of Central Asia, is a very important drink. Very important to you.
Yes. It cleans the blood and the stomach. It's the intestines, and you have to drink before flowering.
Before flowering?
Yes, herbs flowering.
The fact is, when an animal eats all herbs and various flowers, the milk it has may be not only healthy, but also poisonous. Therefore, cattle breeders always separate cows, mares, or sheep who they will milk and graze them on, let's say, verified places. So if your child is allergic, don't take any risks. Do not give him fresh milk from animals grazing on flowering meadows. Well, I have nothing to lose. Can I try? Now, Guys, horse hygiene is above all. I'll just wipe my hands, but then to... How often do you milk them?
5 times.
5 times a day. So you stand on the right knee. We put the hand.
No, you put bucket on your knees.
A bucket on the knees.
Ah,
On the left knee.
uh-huh.
Yes.
And you do like this. Isn't she good, hey? I like this. So good. Listen, she's milking perfectly. The milk is warm. I'm not so good, but I'm hardworking. And I think the horse liked me. In any case, she gave me something at least and did not beat me with her hoof. And now I have a chance to taste the extracted milk. The traditional rubric, my 2 drops. And now here comes the moment of truth. I need to drink it all.
Give me a mug.
Unfiltered, what? How about filtering it? Come on, you may not filter it like live. And this is very healthy, right? I heard that Kumiso therapy in Kyrgyzstan is a very popular topic now. Yes? And people come here to drink kumis for a week. Maybe I should become a dairy sommelier and write a dissertation with the title, The Influence of Grass and Flowers of the Alpine Meadows of Kyrgyzstan. Delicious. On the organoleptic properties of kumis, I'll glorify for sure. Sweet, tender. It feels like it's mixed with honey. Of course, the taste of kumis also depends on the leaven, but milk, of course, is the main thing. I know you feel the notes of watermelon, a ripe peach. Tastes slightly, well, honey for sure.
Does infancy come to your mind?
Infancy.
It is very close to human milk by its structure of mother's milk.
Huh. Delicious. With a good drink, we began to talk with Manap Karabekov, who so kindly allowed me to milk his horse, who, if not him, knows all about plants. This man spent all his life among them. I caught myself thinking that I can't understand how long his life is. I know that there are a lot of long livers in Central Asia. Manap, how old are you?
85.
Wow, you look a maximum of 54 years old. You know, in Moscow, 54-year-olds look like you are at 85. What's your secret?
What's my secret?
What's the secret? Why do you live so long and look so good?
I always lived in the mountains. Climbing.
Yeah.
From a very young age.
In general, Kyrgyz people look amazingly very young, in my opinion. Whether life with pure nature works that way, or the unique properties of local plants provide health and longevity to the inhabitants of these places, I believe that there is a magic sprout somewhere in these mountains, which is responsible for the wisdom and stamina of the Kyrgyz people. There are medicinal herbs like you walk in the forest and then here it is. First, it can be eaten, and second, it gives you 2 more years of life.
Well, for me, sorrel.
Ah, sorrel.
Yes.
Wild ones.
Here we have only wild ones.
But honestly, this soup ingredient does not look like the symbol of the whole Kyrgyzstan. Do you have something else?
You see, a spruce.
A spruce.
The spruce.
And there it is. This tree is the main thing?
Yes. And this is also... She does not go deep if it's...
Around the stone, yes?
Yes, yes.
Around the cliff.
Rocks around. And the depths do not go these roots.
Well, I heard that the roots around the stone are braided. They hold onto the stone, and so it doesn't fall.
It does not fall, and roots grow far from far. Get out of there and leave. The whole surface shows the roots.
I'll fix the spruce in my mind, and I'll continue to collect options among plants. Since I'm in the village, it's better to go to the place where you can hear the most important news, the latest gossip, and of course, fully get acquainted with traditional values and local coloration. The market is the epicenter of social life, especially the Eastern Bazaar. What are these twigs, for example? Isn't it juniper? People here just told me about juniper. Is this a very important tree in Kyrgyzstan?
Not only in Kyrgyzstan, in general, at the Eastern,
Central Asia, yeah.
in Central Asia in particular, very good tree.
Juniper, or cade, is an unusual tree. When I was in Tuva, I learned that there is no shaman rituals which work without it. Shamans are not so common people here among Islamic people, but juniper twigs are, as I see, everywhere too.
The Eastern peoples mainly use it for fumigation of their apartments, against all demons, against the devil,
Oh, and I thought in this way, and you must throw the bogey away.
like
Antidepressant.
no, it's not, antioxidant, and in particular, anti-influenza, antivirus.
I heard that you go into the house, take a juniper in your hand.
Yes.
And all the microbes run away.
All of them, 100% sure.
The people here began to advise what other part of my body I could treat with juniper, and I was almost persuaded that it could be considered a symbol of Kyrgyzia.
They still use it for baths from many proctologic diseases.
Listen, proctological.
I swear, I tested it on myself. And it's an expectorate treatment.
Expectorate. People are joining us here, so it is also expectorate.
Many people use their seeds.
Yeah?
They do bruise, yes.
Boil and breathe. But I realize that the popularity of the juniper plays, I might say, against it. It grows all around the globe. Even Mexican sorceresses treat people with it. We will consider the juniper as the World Heritage of Mankind. Maybe we should write to UNESCO. And we should look not to such a popular brand for Kyrgyzia. People told me that there is some red shank here in the bazaar. I'll try to ask them.
Well, in our Kyrgyzstan, on the Issyk Lake, and our mountains in particular, grow a lot of medicinal herbs.
I already know that. You know, you have not only medicinal herbs in the mountains, but you could also eat such an herb and you can kick the bucket.
We do have such herbs which you can kick the bucket. That is correct. It is called aconite. It can cure the cancer completely in the first stages.
When you are told about the oldest profession, this is not what you think. The first person who received a reward for his knowledge was exactly a medicine man, a doctor. Folk medicine still has an auxiliary meaning in Kyrgyzstan nowadays, and such a red shank, or as it is called, bakshi, is in a great rarity and value. But there is a big scientific research institute of medicinal plants from Soviet times here. It makes sense when Kyrgyz people have such a basis.
We sell the roots of the Araroth.
Show me the roots of the Arhara. It sounds like, you know, hello, I'm the root of Arhara. I'm the Lord of Darkness.
They are, indeed, already broken.
Oh,
Yes, they strengthen the male potency.
very good. I have a feeling that you can easily open a small secret laboratory of special production for super agents on this counter. I found it on the market, near with the most famous Kyrgyz balm, Arashan. However, I'd better step aside for degustation. You can't explain to everyone that I'm doing important research work.
Курамына жугурку салату, ту, дары чел ту балы, жузум, беру карагат, грек жангалы, анар ит мурун, кара карагетін, алчының, шичыр кантынтын, дебеге спиртылынген ширелері, сарактыл кучунек кептілерінген, шалфей жана перу бальзам, майлары, калер айтаны, даярдалго.
This is how the list of medicinal herbs of this wonderful balm, very useful for health, sounds in the Kyrgyz language. And if you suddenly feel stress, insomnia, chronic fatigue, use the Kyrgyz balm Arashan, and you will be happy. In fact, you may laugh, but here it is, very famous and very popular. A half top during a day, and you'll be happy. And the stress is gone. And clarity, however, did not come. and my eyes flutter from the huge amount of interesting plants that could become symbols of Kyrgyzstan. But I know where the whole wisdom of the Kyrgyz people is concentrated. In the main national epic about the Bogatyr, Manas. I'll definitely find a legend about some kind of tree or flower that has wonderful properties. And the connoisseurs of this epic know exactly what plant gains respect of the local inhabitants since times immemorial. I decided to return to the camp where I was told about outstanding animals of Kyrgyzstan. We're going to roam again.
Жолдо келечемеси таласга жан жерим деп жол алызым билелек бухарга таштап сар тобу.
I could read the epic myself, but it has 500,000 lines. The performers of the epic Manashchi remember them by heart. Just think about it, 500,000 lines. In comparison, the poem of the most popular Russian poet Alexander Pushkin, Eugene Onegin, has 100 times less, and this child also reads it in different voices.
Бозоп турат желмаян, атаңның көрі дүние, қағылайын дүние, өзін тоқтатып, емей болам бар деді, атаңнан қалған мал деді, табалы ұрынды, құрбанды қатчал деді, атаңның көрі дүние, мұны ошында қарасаң.
Oh, poor little one. He was just peeved. In fact, being a Manashchi is a challenge and hard work. Performers of the epic poems were esteemed as shamans and respected by locals before. They believed that while performing epics, the Manashchi's soul travels to other worlds. And I will again flop around the nice Kyrgyz women, if, of course, I could distract them from the wedding rituals. After all, the young Manashchi did not reveal the secret of the main plant of his country to me. I mean, if I wasn't married, I'd stay here. Here is my word of honor. The bride is so beautiful. She has braided 2 plaits. She has a trousseau. Let's take a look. A house, real estate, 200,000 hectares of land, snow, mountains, eagles, horses, dogs. She has everything. This is beautiful. The majority of women in Kyrgyzstan, a country that preserves the traditional way of life, are not only able to manage their own household since childhood, they also save 1,000-year traditions of knowledge of their nation. That's what I need. What is the main tree, or a plant, or a flower for you?
A Kyrgyz spruce.
A Kyrgyz spruce.
Kyrgyz.
And why is it? Why is it important for you? I'm just after you, after a housewarming party. The wedding is straight away after the Kyrgyz.
Because it personifies long years of living.
Ah, longevity.
Yes.
Longevity, health.
Health.
This is Kyrgyz.
And this is Kyrgyz. Ah.
The upper deck.
The top part.
Yes.
Well, we must go look at the fur which the nomads talk so much about. It's interesting. Although they have settled here a long time ago, but cultivated plants still do not cause enthusiasm for them. Actually, this is an important feature of nomadic traditions. The survivability of the people has never depended on plants they grow. Vegetable food occupied a very small place in the nomad's diet. That is why edible plants are not sacred for the Kyrgyz, unlike among the Slavic people. On the way to the spruce, I found the famous ephedra. It is also widely used in folk medicine for treating asthma and all kinds of ARDs. This is also the case when the official medicine fully agrees with traditional ones about the effectiveness of this plant. In addition, this plant is dioecious, which means that the men's and women's houses are located separately. This is a man's house, Now I'll show you what a woman's house looks like. And I'll try ephedra now. Look, there's a man's house here, and there's a woman's over there. Far from each other. Look, do you see how far the bumblebees have to fly? A woman's house is smaller. It differs from a male's one. Well, I always taste something in all my programs. Never, remember, never try unknown plants, even medicinal. Ephedra tastes like juniper. Well, a typical coniferous plant. And in these places, a Russian officer of the First World War, Nikolai Mikhailovich Przhevalsky, apparently also tried something, and it ended sadly for him, unfortunately. So, dear travelers, wherever plants you see, do not try any of them and wash your hands before eating. Come on. Let's go, let's go. Come with me, let's go, let's go. Oh, you quiet. Here it is, the real queen of Kyrgyzia, Tian Shan fir. Powerful, tall, stately, straight as a candle. A beautiful tree. Perhaps with full certainty, this beauty can be called one of the living symbols of Kyrgyzstan. And they've grown along the slopes for many centuries, many years. One side is constantly facing the sun, the other facing the slope. One always heats up slightly more than the other, but it still lives, survives in these difficult conditions, and feels great. These powerful trees have been growing for millions of years on the slopes of the Tian Shan, on the southern side of Issyk-Kul. And of course, they can be considered as relics of the last ice age. The spruce should have disappeared after its termination in these latitudes. But they were saved by the gigantic ridge of the Tian Shan due to its height and accordingly lower temperature. Well, of course, to grow here in these difficult climatic conditions, in this difficult landscape, you need a very special root system. And the Tian Shan fir has one. The fact is that in order to hold itself here on these steep slopes, the roots must penetrate deep into the ground. And the layer of the land is not so thick here. There is a rock layer. It begins right under the thin layer of ground. And the roots have to go deep down. But if they meet a rock, they do not go off to one side, but they cover it. They almost pass through the stone, cling tightly to the rock, and thus allow the tree to stand on this rock for centuries. It seems to me that I know exactly what plant can symbolize this country and its strong and benevolent people. A proud, evergreen tree that can survive in this difficult climate and stay majestic, never obey external circumstances. During my trip to Kyrgyzstan, I met a lot of different plants, medicinal, healthy, beautiful, necessary for people who live here. But as for the main plant, the main symbol, I vote for the Tian Shan fir, which is also called the Queen of Kyrgyzia. This stately, mighty tree, with full certainty, can be called the living symbol of Kyrgyzstan.